Hey YouTube, welcome to my week 12 pregnancy vlog. I am 13 weeks and 1 day today. I'm a little more organized this time around. Not a lot, but a little bit. I don't really have a whole lot to talk about this week, so I was actually kind of contemplating not doing a video for this week since it's kind of, I don't know, it's kind of boring. But I figured I would do it because if I didn't, then I would feel lazy. So I did finally have my first doctor's appointment. I was very, very nervous because I knew there was going to be so many different tests and different exams and stuff. I hope this camera is straight. I actually have it on the tripod this time instead of setting it up on my desk, and I haven't used a tripod ever, so hopefully I'm not tilted in any direction. Anyway, my doctor's appointment went well. It wasn't fun getting my pap and cultures taken. That was kind of uncomfortable, and I don't know if they've changed it. It could just be me forgetting. I thought they only took 2 swabs or samples, whatever you want to call it, but they did 4, and that kind of sucked. That was rather uncomfortable. My doctor did offer for me to have the NT scan, and she said the way it works is they will basically, I guess, give you an ultrasound. They will measure certain things on the baby, and if it comes back in the, see, how did she exactly explain this? If it comes back in the something could be wrong category, it doesn't necessarily mean that there is something wrong. It just means that there could be something wrong, and then they would have to give you an additional test, which includes the amniocentesis, where they stick the needle through your abdomen into your stomach and draw amniotic fluid out. I'm not okay with that. I think it's kind of silly to get a test done and them tell you that something could be wrong with, and then you stress out and worry that something's wrong with your baby, and then you have to go through another test, and then they're like, oh, we were wrong, everything's just fine. I don't know. I could be stupid, but I don't think it's necessary. I didn't have that with any of my other girls. I didn't ever have the option. I think it's a relatively new test, and I just opted out. I don't want, pregnancy is already stressful enough. I don't need, it could come back fine the first time around, but just in case, I don't need the additional stress of thinking, oh my God, what if something's wrong? What if something's wrong? And then have to go through that next test, which is a fairly serious test, and then tell you that, oh, everything's just fine. So I said no. After my doctor's appointment, the way my doctor works is usually, well, not usually, all the time, you have to go to the section of the hospital to get your laboratory work done and stuff like that. She doesn't do it in the office. She doesn't do ultrasounds in the office either. So I went and got my blood drawn. And as I had said before, I don't do so good with needles. Not always, but I usually pass out. And that's just the way I am. And I still haven't figured out to this day what it is, because obviously it's uncomfortable to have a needle in your arm, but it doesn't hurt. I mean, it is a little poke. Maybe it's just a mental thing. I don't know. Anyway, I went in there, and at this place, there's this one lady that I really like because she does a really, really good job, and I'm usually okay with her. And unfortunately, I didn't get her. I was kind of excited at first when I got there because I saw her, the lady that I like, and I was like, yes, she's here. I'm going to be good. And then I got back there, and she was not there. So I got into the room, and I let her know that, it's not necessarily going to happen. I'm just warning you that I could possibly pass out. And she's like, oh, okay. She was a little cute Hispanic lady. I don't know. I'm sure she understood me, but, you know, she just kind of, you know, she didn't really make a big deal out of it, which, you know, usually they kind of set you up a little bit better if they think you're going to pass out. Anyway, I sat down, and this particular hospital, you sit down and they have this little arm section that comes and sits in front of you, so you have a place to sit your arm for them to put the tourniquet on and draw your blood. And she was going to do it in my right arm. Well, I used my right arm. Didn't really want my arm to be sore, so I asked her, hey, can we put it in this arm? And she's like, yeah, that's fine. So she came around, and the bar, obviously there was no bar on this side. It was just on this side, because I guess they always take the blood from this arm. Anyway, you know, she put the needle in, and, you know, it stung a little bit, but I wasn't like, oh my god, it hurts terribly bad. It was, you know, a little pinch. And I was like, okay, I'm doing okay. But it was difficult because I was kind of having to support my own weight of my arm. I don't know if that really makes sense. Because it was so, the chair, the arm of the chair, the actual arm was so far down, it wasn't elevated up to support my arm properly to keep this area straight for the needle to be in, because, you know, it was right in the crease of my arm. So it was a little uncomfortable, and they had to take 4 vials of blood. You know, and I don't look at it because that would just really, that would be very bad. I would probably definitely pass out. Not because I pass out at the sight of blood, just because you know, my mind knows that that blood is coming out of my body from that needle. Anyway, I had my head turned to the side, and I could hear the blood rushing into the vial, like splattering, and that was kind of uneasy. And I did get a little bit dizzy and a little bit lightheaded during the process, but I thought I was going to be fine. I was like, hey, this is good. I'm doing good. You know, my husband was waiting for me right outside the door, and yeah, I didn't think I was going to have any problems. So she took the needle out, and she's like, okay, you're all done. I was like, yeah, I'm all proud of myself. And I got up and I started walking out the door, and I barely make it out the door, and I see my husband, and everything goes completely black. I didn't pass out, but I blacked out. I couldn't see anything. And, you know, my husband kind of not caught me, but took me and sat me down, and, you know, I was really dizzy, and everything, once I sat down, everything came back into view. I could see everything, and I was like, I don't know what happened. I thought I was going to be fine. Well, this area that's in there it's a pretty small area, and I didn't want to be in there after I was already done because I felt like I was in the way. And not only that, I was embarrassed because these old people, 70, 80 years old, are coming in and getting their blood drawn and walking out. No problem. Just fine. So you know, I'm the youngin'. I'm supposed to be, you know, more sturdy, and I'm, you know, on the brink of passing out. So I'm like, okay, I'm good. I know I only sat there for a few seconds. I'm like, okay, I'm good. I can see now. So I stood up and walked around the chair to walk out the door, and everything went black again. And luckily, I was kind of up against the wall because, you know, the hallway was pretty narrow and there were people passing on the other side. So I was up against the wall, and once everything went black, I kind of just hunkered down up against the wall with my weight up against the wall just in case I did pass out. I didn't want to smack the floor with my head or something because it's a, you know, it's a hospital floor. It's not padded. So I'm just kind of sitting there squatting down. I was hoping I wasn't going to be seen because, you know, I don't want other people to have to worry about me. That, you know, that's not their job. But, of course, you know, the lady that took my blood, she came back out and she's like, oh, I thought she was just fine. And I was like, yeah, I thought I was just fine too. So I stood back up and sat down in the chair that was closest to me. And it was a little bit worse than it had been before. I felt clammy, like I felt sticky. I was like having hot and cold flashes, and my heart was beating really hard. And you know, the receptionist was like, did she just have a lab work drawn? And my husband was trying to talk to her, and everything was just kind of the sound was just kind of wah, wah, wah. And I don't know, it kind of felt like a dream. Anyway, I had a nice lady come up and ask if I wanted something to drink, and it kind of hit me then at that point in time. I had absolutely nothing to eat or drink the entire day, and I got my blood drawn at 2 in the afternoon. So that was more than likely the issue. I usually don't eat breakfast in the morning, but I usually eat lunch around noon, and I always have something to drink. So I'm assuming that was the problem. Anyway, the lady brought me a little cup of yummy hospital apple juice and a glass of water, and I drank the apple juice and started sipping on the water, and I felt better, and I was like, okay, I think we should go now, because like I said, I don't want to be in the way. I don't want everybody to have to like drop what they're doing or think that they have to tend to me when, no, that's not their job. I should have just got my blood drawn and got out. That's what I was trying to do. I was trying to get to the vehicle and black out and have problems in the vehicle, because then it wouldn't be anybody else's issue. Anyway, everything was fine, and my husband was trying to get me to sit there longer, but I'm like, no, I'm done. I'm leaving. I am good to go. And I was still a little queasy, but I wasn't blacking out anymore, so I was gone. And I walked to the car, and, you know, by that time, everything was fine. So, technically, I didn't really pass out, but I probably would have rather passed out, because once I pass out and I wake up, I'm good. I am perfectly fine. There's absolutely nothing wrong with me. I don't feel weak. I don't feel nauseated. I don't feel lightheaded. Nothing. I pass out. I wake up. I am good to go. I did get my sonogram, my first ultrasound appointment scheduled, and it's on the 8th of March. So, what was that, like 2.5 weeks? I was counting down there for a while, but I lost track of the days the past few days, so I'm not really sure exactly how many days, but it's soon. I'll be 15 weeks and 4 days, which I was kind of surprised, because my first sonogram last time, I think I was like 20 weeks. And they said that they needed to do it at that time to find out the gender, because they couldn't find out any sooner. So I guess technology has advanced a little bit since I last had a baby. She said that the earliest they can do it now is 15 weeks. So if we get in there and the baby cooperates and they can tell us the sex, we're going to find out if it's a boy or a girl. And as soon as I find out, I will be changing this ugly yellow background. It reminds me too much of gold, and I am not a gold lover. I don't like gold at all, unless it's white gold, which is not really gold. It's white gold. I've had a couple cravings. Lately I've been eating carrots like crazy. I love carrots. And I've been craving V8 juice. I tried the regular V8 juice, and it was way too salty for me, so I had to downgrade to V8 low sodium, which my husband doesn't like, but that's okay by me, because then I get more. And I've been drinking V8 Fusion to get some fruit juice also. So, I did not, once again, I did not do the fetal development picture this week. I didn't feel like drawing it. Like I said, I didn't even feel like doing this video, but I don't want to feel lazy, so I'm doing it. Anyway, I don't know if y'all remember my last video. When I did my belly measurement pictures, I said that I was like super fat and bloated. My measurement for that week, for last week, was 33.5 inches. And then for week 12, it was 32.75. So I was definitely bloated, because I'm not that big anymore. But I'll put in pictures at the end like always. And we went to Walmart the other day, and they had a huge clearance sale. So of course we got some baby stuff. Hold on, Evelyn. You got this. It was only $2.50. Just go over this real quick. This really cute newborn jacket. It's really soft fleece. That was only $2.50. Of course, all of this stuff is blue, but my husband liked this one. I think this would probably be more for a boy, but it's sleepwear, so you know, who's gonna notice? Anyway, it was only $3 for the top and the bottoms. And it says barely tired. So I thought that was cute. I don't know why I feel like I'm forgetting something. This video is probably already too long. But anyway, I think that's it for this week. And yeah, I will see y'all next week for week 13. Bye.